Hey, it's the publisher here, Mr. Kelly Cole. Listen, if you are a former professional athlete, if you are a former college athlete or sports coach, and you're looking to launch your speaking career, let me tell you, you need a book. If you're already out there speaking and you want to track more high paid speaking engagements, you need a book. It's not about creating more content to post on social media. It's not about recording a bunch of videos. It's not about doing more podcasts. The number one secret to attracting more high paid speaking engagements or even launching your speaking career is a book. Hey, I'm the publisher, Mr. Kelly Cole, and I help former athletes and sports coaches create best-selling books in 30 days to launch their speaking career, even if they hate writing and don't know where to start. So for the first time ever, I've created a free case study video that will not only show you how to write a book from scratch in as little as 30 days and become a best-selling author, it will also show you how to attract more high-paid speaking engagements. Now, to check out this free case study video, click the link that says learn more or go to booksforathletes.com. Real quick before you go, do not go if you're not a former athlete or sports coach, because you won't find any value in what I'm about to share. And don't go if your book is already out and already on Amazon. You won't find any value in what I share over there. But if you are a former athlete or sports coach, know that you need a book, or already out there speaking and you want to launch your speaking career, go check out that link now. Writing a book is not as hard as you think. It doesn't even matter if you don't know where to start. My case study video will show you how to start and get it done and onto the bestsellers list. So go now.
Welcome to the Books for Athletes podcast with your host, the publisher, Mr. Kelly Cole. Mr. Cole, a former athlete and best-selling author himself, has set out to take you behind the scenes of some of sports' forgotten heroes. He sits down with former professional athletes, college athletes, and sports coaches as they share stories of triumph, defeat, dedication, and perseverance. Here's Kelly.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Books for Athletes podcast. Today, I got a special guest all the way from Lithonia. He just said Lithonia, Georgia. My man, Horace McClain III. McClarin. Did I say it right? How'd I say it?
Yeah, McClarin.
McClarin III. What's up, bro?
Man, what's going on? All is good, bro. I'm representing that breast cancer thing today.
So, breast cancer awareness month. Is
yeah.
that important to you?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually doing it for one of my listeners. She asked me what I advertise breast cancer awareness month, and tonight will be the show that we will. She sent us some T-shirts, and her sister was not lucky enough to survive her breast cancer. So we definitely making sure that we are in the community and making sure that everybody understands the awareness that, that we have for it, because, we got mothers, we got aunties, we got grandmothers, we got sisters, that could fall victim to this. And, and quiet as kept, men can get it too. It's just not as prominent. But yeah, so we got a lot of facts that we'll go run through the show tonight with, and let everybody know that let's go ahead and unite together and try to let everybody be aware of this dangerous disease.
Dope, man. So let's take them from the beginning. You born and raised in Lithonia or Atlanta? Tell us a little
Born
bit
and
about
raised
how you
in
came
Atlanta.
up.
Born and raised in Atlanta. I always represent Bankhead. That's where that's my stomping ground. So born and raised in Atlanta. And I think I told you my next book, From Bankhead to Buckhead, will be my next project. So, I always have an affinity to the west side of Atlanta, man. That's where my roots and my stomping ground was founded. So I always give a shout out to them.
Dope, man. So how was your childhood growing up in Atlanta? Tell us a little bit about that.
Wow. I seen a lot, probably seen too much. I definitely saw a lot at an early age. It was it was challenging, but it also was, I would say it's a blessing in disguise because it teaches you, well, it taught me how to survive, taught me how to get stronger mentally, and it also teaches you how to really appreciate things that you actually work for. Um, nothing is given to you. I mean, you understand that nothing is given to you in this world. You got to work for it, and sometimes when you work for it, you want to appreciate it because you don't want to lose it. So on that side of the fence, it actually is a blessing in disguise. So can't complain about it.
Dope, man. So it looks like you used to be a hooper back in the day. Tell us a little bit about that. You used to play ball.
Yeah, I played. Actually, I played all three sports. Played quarterback, point guard, and I pitched.
Dope.
So uh, I was a pretty good athlete at all three. And if you notice, all three was a leadership position. So that's where I thrive the most in a position where I can I can take the responsibility and leading people. So I think that's one of my superpowers anyway. But quarterback is definitely was is something that I had to come back to because quarterback is a lot of life lessons in that,
Hmm.
where you when you apply things to life, you understand. You hear this thing they saying now. Let's run this play, or let's run that play, or when I ran this play, and that's what quarterbacks do. They call the play and you run it, and oftentimes you got to execute it. But I chose basketball to go to college with because going on in recruiting trips and looking at how big the linemen were, I was like, "Whoo, yeah, that's a little too much for me."
Yeah.
So I did choose basketball to go to college for, and I only did 1 year at Miami Dade College down in Miami. That's a whole other story. Saw a lot down there too. But yeah, three sport athlete. Uh, it didn't keep me away from the books because I had to had to get in them books as well. No pass, no play. So it was definitely one of them situations where I had to make sure I stay above everything to make sure that my grades was on point. So yeah, I was one of those kind of guys that took pride in making sure that the stereotype of being an athlete doesn't come with a lot of smarts, but I was one of those that I worked just as hard off the field and in the classroom as I did on the field and on the court. So
That's dope.
I was pretty blessed.
That's dope, man. So you said you only did 1 year of college playing basketball. Why did you leave
Yeah.
after that 1 year?
A lot of family situations were going on. I had to get back home and take care of some things, and then the year that I came back home for the summer, I ended up fracturing my ankle, which set me out for a little while, and just kind of got discouraged and said, well, let me go ahead and start life. So that was that.
What did you do? What did you do after you quit playing basketball? How did you start life?
I mean, I just got a job, any and every way I could. You know, just getting a job just to get a job to kind of pay bills, not no career, but just getting a job just to get a job. Just being young, still trying to find himself and trying to figure out life, and it was tough sledding at first, but everything kind of worked out. I think those are your learning years, your young adult years are your learning years where you figured out that maybe college wasn't so bad after all.
Exactly.
After driving the forklift and working for UPS and all that kind of stuff, that maybe sitting in the classroom ain't a bad idea.
Right, right. That's that's definitely it. So when did you develop your love for radio and announcing and doing what you're doing
Um, well, I've always had an affinity for kids and coaching and things of that nature. So after I did 6 years of AAU coaching,
now?
and that was a whirlwind. It's a lot of things behind the scenes in the AAU coaching that's just you don't expect, you just don't um you just don't agree with.
Hmm.
And once I finished my group and once they graduated, I said, I'm gonna have to try to find a different way to kind of give back to the community. And I said, what better way to do it than talk about what I know? I was actually sitting out. I was living in Tucker one year, and I was sitting out, and I had the podcast had just started popping off, and I said, I wanted. At first, I was like, I was listening to a lot of Les Brown and Jim Rohn and all that. I was like, man, these guys are pretty good. Maybe I can get into some of this inspirational stuff and start talking to the kids or whatnot. And so I figured out that I can go back and listen to the podcast. I can just go online and go back and listen to it. I said, well, that'd be kind of dope. And I said, well, let me see how I can start one. And one of the guys say, if you find something that you love, if you find something that you're passionate about and find something that you love, then your content is right there.
Yep.
I said, well, since I'm trying to get into speaking, I'm not gonna start off with speaking. I'm gonna start off with something that I love, and that's sports.
Yeah.
And I told my best friend, I was like, hey, I think I'm finna start off with this podcast. You down with me? He said, yeah, I'm good. I said, I'm gonna get all the equipment I bought. I invested like $1,200, got all my mixer, my microphones and headsets and all that. And every day from work, I got off and I studied. I got on YouTube and did all of my studying and all that. In August 28th, 2013, we kicked off the first show. And
So
we've been rolling ever since.
10 years.
Yep.
10 years.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Dennis Haley. I am the author of the playbook, The Art of Dreaming. Just want to say a special thank you to Kelly Cole and the Publishing Advantage Group team. Man, they were with me from day one until the time I finished, and still with me to this day. What a blessing to have them be with me and to walk me through this journey and to be a part of this journey. They have been nothing but class acts and they know what they're talking about. And just again, it is a blessing to be a part of this team and for them to guide me down the path to success. So thank you for everything that you have done. I look forward to many more projects with you guys and continue to be a blessing to many. Thank you.
Yep. 10 years. Just
What's
had our
the
10-year anniversary.
That's dope, man. So what's the biggest thing you've learned in these 10 years of doing your podcast on sport?
I would say that people really don't care about how you feel. People want to know, people want to know what's factual about what you're trying to get across. And I base my show on if you ain't got the facts, don't say it.
That's good.
If you can't back it up with facts, don't say it. Don't tell me how you feel. Because if you tell me how you feel, that's just really a an opinion that is not supported by anything other than how you favor it.
Right.
So and I've always said this, and I would even when I debate people, I always say it's facts versus feelings. You got feelings, I got facts. So you know, so facts wins every time.
All
So
right.
the biggest thing is that people really don't care nothing about how you really feel. They want to know how can you make your point based on the facts that you have.
All right, here's it. Here it is. Remember what you just said. Now I need facts to back up your answer. Who's the GOAT, Mike or LeBron?
Well, I would say this. I would say these are it's so hard to talk about anything that's not comparable at the time. I would say in the era that they played in, each one of them have an argument.
Right?
I would say that I can't compare. It's like me saying my grandmother that I eat her cooking every Sunday compared to your grandmother who I only ate that 1 or 2 times. You ask me, well, who cornbread tastes the best? Well, I mean, if I eat here every Sunday, who you think I'm gonna say?
Right.
So I mean, and then if I don't give, I mean, and I only ate at your grandmother's house twice, then that's not a really a fair comparison because I've obviously got more volume at my grandmother's house, and plus my grandmother's house is where my um alliance lies.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that anybody who's never seen Jordan play, they gonna say LeBron is the GOAT because that's where their alliance is.
Yeah.
Anybody who born in the 70s, grew up with Michael Jordan, they go probably say Michael Jordan because that's where their alliance lives. But I think it's really a argument that you can never really prove because everybody have their own criteria. You can come
Mhm.
up with something, you come up with this or that. You want to count the rings, you want to count the effect of who had the most effect on basketball and all this. And so it's really hard to answer that question. So I would say in each era, each person has definitely an argument.
So, all right, we're gonna get back on track. All right, so let's talk about the book, Stretch Your Mind, Powerful Quotes That Lead to Success. What gave you the idea for this, and what are you hoping people get from it?
Well, if I can be quite transparent with you real quick,
Mhm.
um, in 2019, I had a life threatening event that happened, and it took me away from the public eye for a couple of years, and I had to sit down and recover and get better and things of that nature. And I would say that I'm blessed to be here.
Yeah.
And one of the and if I told anyone that I had a massive stroke by looking at me, by talking to me, you will never know unless I told you.
Right.
Okay. So with that being said, uh while I was recovering, I was encouraged to go to therapy. And in our community, that word is somewhat of a, not so good, not
Right.
so good word. But I had to lean on God to say, I need you to lead me through this because a lot of depression and a lot of anxiety set in and all that. But the biggest thing, Kels, is that the the amount of regret that I've had
Mm.
for not doing some of the things that I would have left on the table had God not have saved me.
Yeah.
And as talking to my therapist, the first thing she asked me was, "What was your biggest hurt?" I said, "Not doing some of the things that I know I should have done and didn't do." And she said, "Well, now it's time to get to it." And she said, "Well, what was one of the things that you wanted to do?" I said, one of my directors at work, she tasked me with a she tasked me with something to say, I need you to figure out a way to keep the morale high and positive on our team. So every day I had to figure out, come up with something to
Yeah.
keep up with it. And I resorted back to listening to Les Brown and Jim Rohn and things of that nature. And my godmother told me, she said, well, do what you do best, inspire people. I said, okay, cool. So every day I would send out a thought for the day in the email blast, a way for somebody or anybody, if it ain't but one person or two, somebody let's go get that feeling of, of wow, that was deep, that was strong.
Yeah.
So once I did that, I kept all of my emails, and I said, one day I'm gonna put this in a book. And life went on, and life went on, and life went on, and I never got to it.
Wow.
And then the therapist said, well, this is the chance for you to make up for this. This is a chance for you to be your 2.0 and go ahead and do the things that you wanted to do. So I sat and prayed, and I said, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make this a mission. If I don't do nothing else, I got to inspire somebody. I said, because I've had so many good mentors in my life that have dropped so many gems and so much game on me, that I would do them a disservice if I didn't do the same thing for other people.
Yeah.
So I asked God to lead me one day, and believe it or not, when He led me, the first thing I saw on social media the next day was you doing a video about books for athletes.
Yo, what up? It's your girl JC, and listen, I have to send a special shout out to my guy, Mr. Kelly Cole, and the entire team at Publishing Advantage Group and Books for Athletes. They took so great care of me to the point that I know I'm the pickiest person. This book was supposed to have been finished last summer. However, there were some details that I needed to make sure that the book had because my audience needed it. And, when it comes down to feeding and serving the people, especially as a former athlete, and telling your story, you cannot be selfish with the material and give it away. And they worked with me from the time of my thought process to the time of conception, all the way down to now, top 20 hot release best-selling author on Amazon in 24 hours. Listen, if you're an athlete, you have a story to tell, and you don't know how to put it in book form just yet, don't worry, you're not alone, okay? Hit my guy, Mr. Kelly Cole, and tell him what you're trying to do, and I promise you he gonna get you right, all right? And of course, check me out on Amazon after the season. Shout out to the Books for Athletes family.
Wow.
And I was like, I know this dude. I said, yes. I said, yeah. I said, yeah, man. I said that's my man who was on Mo's show with me one time. I said, I'm gonna have to give him a call. I said, that was the sign right there.
Wow.
So that's how I got to the book. But what I want people to really get out of this is, I'm not really, I'm not telling you any quotes or sharing any quotes that you probably never heard before. But what I want you to do is, I want you to stretch your mind this time and read the quote.
Yeah.
Now, when you stretch your mind and read the quotes, you go see the quotes just a little bit different now. They go hit a little different because, we stretch our arms, we stretch our legs, we stretch our bodies before workout, but very rarely do we stretch our mind.
Yeah.
And when we stretch our minds, you'll be amazed of how many viewpoints and how many different perspectives, or how keen in on a perspective we actually see certain things with. So, and I hope people really get out of this book is a way to really take their mental capacity beyond what they used to.
Yeah.
And really get deep into thinking, because the most powerful thing on our body is our brain.
Yes, sir. Love
So
it,
that's what
man.
I'm hoping the people get.
That's good, man. Speaking of that, so after hearing what you went through, what was it like when you held the book in your hand for the first time? Tell me about that feeling.
Uh, well, I would say this: the when I first got the shipment of books, it was I came home and I saw I had a package, and then I saw this label that says heavy on it. I wasn't really expecting the books at that time, but it says heavy. And I'm like, what could this be? I'm like, I'm looking for something else. And when I picked it up and I opened it, I was like, all these books. I was like, oh, these the books. And when I pulled it out, man, I took pictures and just held it in my hand, and it was the feeling of it was a feeling that I really can't describe, because it was like it's like throwing your first touchdown pass.
Yeah.
It's like scoring your first touchdown. It's like hitting the game winning three.
Yeah.
It's just one of those moments where it's triumph.
Yeah.
Like it's like, who knew that I could do this? Maybe you doubted yourself. Maybe you said, it'll work out, and you half believe it, but it's like, but when you actually get it, it's like, wow, this is the feeling that I've been looking for.
That's dope.
I felt rejuvenated. I felt brand new again. I felt like it definitely erased all of that regret I had of not doing it.
Dope.
So I'm like, okay, now I see how people can get high off success.
Yeah, man. That's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
so
What about
it
when
was
I sent you the message that you hit the Amazon bestsellers list? How did that feel?
now that was a different feel. I was like, wow, this is because you think that, I mean, I didn't really have any expectations. My expectation was to just actually do it,
Mhm.
to just complete it. And if I completed it, I would be satisfied and happy. But to say that, okay, you're on this list of people who want to get it, and how many people are you inspiring? That's a different hit.
Yeah.
That was a different. I went out on my deck, and I just went out on my deck that night, and I was like, this is unbelievable. Like, who knew?
Yeah.
I wish my godmother, my dad, and my mom was here to share that with me, but I mean, it was a different feeling for sure.
It's dope, man.
Definitely a different feeling,
Dope.
because
Um,
I didn't have any kind of expectations of how many sales and all that. I just wanted to do it and finish it and just get it done.
Dope, man. What was it like working with us?
It was real breezy, real breezy. It was definitely easier than I thought. You
Would you
know, we you all I always, I mean, I work in technology, so I always tell people, you defeat yourself sometimes before you even try. And I even, and I was a victim of that. I'm like, man, how do I even start this thing? What do I even do? I said I would definitely have to get with somebody that's verifiable, and somebody that can kind of coach me through this, where it won't be no, nothing outside of the box. Or if I have to be uncomfortable, I'll be okay being uncomfortable with them. And I would say that I would definitely be uncomfortable, with you guys, because once you broke it down to me, I was like, well, that don't really seem too hard. I mean, like, I got the content. I just need to get it to them.
That's it.
Yeah. So I mean, once you broke it down to me, I mean, and I think that's the thing. It was just needing to understand what all it took. Just give it to me. Like, you know how we try to eat healthier or try to do this and do that.
Yeah.
Give it to me in the breakdown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and break it down and let's go. And that's basically what you guys did. You broke it down 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's go, and boom, that was that. And I didn't even know anything about a book trailer until I can't even remember how it came up, and I asked about it, and she was like, "Yeah, we can do that too." I was like, "Okay, well, let's go ahead and add that to the you know, to the cart."
Oh man. Would you recommend other authors work with us? And if they're thinking about, if they're on the fence, would you give them some encouragement? And would you recommend they work with us to get that book done?
Absolutely. I've already talked to two or three people who wants to do it. They trying to get some time or whatever the case may be. I say, listen, all it take is one phone call and that's it. Once you get that phone call, it's like that's all you need. You really just need the confirmation. Cause it's not about I don't think it's about anything about being scared or anything like that. You just want to know that the confirmation is there that this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
So I think that's all it takes sometimes, just the first phone call. Because when I got off the phone with you and when you broke it down to me, I said, "Well, I already know this is gonna be a hit." Because just that one phone call did it for me. I'm like, I'm sold.
So
I mean, I think you could have sold me a house that day.
that's good, man.
Yeah, I think you could have sold me a house that day.
Cool. Two last questions. Number one, um, what is your favorite quote? It could be in the book or out of the book. What's your favorite quote, favorite thing that you hold on to? And then also let the people know how they can reach you, how they can get in touch with you, book you to speak, and all that good stuff.
Actually, I got the book right here.
There you go.
I'm going to go to my favorite quote, and I just did a vendor event this past Saturday
Mhm.
where I was in Mableton, Georgia. Man, I set up the table, set up the books, and man, had a good old time. And as people come by, I already knew. I say, feel free to browse through the book and let me know what your favorite quote is, or come on over here. Don't be scared to get some motivation. And my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes, is on page number 18. Stretching your mind means that you are willing to think far beyond your mental capacity to seek understanding and resolution.
That's it. That's it. And what does
And
that mean to you?
that means that it means that don't be so shallow when you think.
Mhm.
Open your minds to all possibilities in all areas. Um, you know, don't hold your brain hostage to just because a lot of times when we think about something, we go think of the easiest and the most convenient thing and then go with that.
Yep.
And a lot of times that's not the case. Because sometimes it means more to you. Like I got another quote I'm about to read to you.
Yeah.
That's in my mind, you got to stretch your mind for this one. And it's on page 36. Accountability is your first property of ownership, and it's free.
Break that down.
Well, accountability everybody say you have to own your accountability. Own what you did or didn't do. Own it. Just like a homeowner.
Yeah.
So if you own it, well, before you even get the physical house, own this property of your ownership.
Yeah.
Own this property of your accountability. Own your actions.
Yeah.
And when you own your actions, then you into something. And then when you own this action, there's no down payment, there's no mortgage, there's nothing. Only thing you got to do is just put forth the effort.
That's it, bro. That's it, man. You can't close it no stronger than that. Tell the people where they can get in contact with you.
Man, HM3inspires with an S.com.
HM3.
Man, I got a great website designer and everything, bro. HM3inspires.com. You can reach me there for the book, speaking engagement, anything you need, motivational wise, it's on the site.
That's good, man. Thank you so much for doing this, bro.
Absolutely.
All right,
I
man.
appreciate it.
Looking forward to book 2.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Let's get to it. I got 3 more books that I want to do.
That's what's up, man. Have a great show tonight, man. Much success to you.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you so much for checking out this episode of the Books for Athletes podcast. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and leaving us reviews. And be sure, if you're interested and you want to get your book done, make sure you check out our free case study video at www.booksforathletes.com. Also, if you'd like for me to come to speak to your students or you're having an event and you need a speaker, I would love to be a part of it. Just shoot me an email at booksforathletes.com. Until then, we'll see you on the next episode.